The #1
the rules about giving money to politicians. MCI and Sprint, it's an enormous acquisition in the phone business. What does it tell us about the future? The ultimate dream of an unhappy sports fan. If the big star won't do his job, take him to court. And we're going to take a closer look at what effect 250,000 nurses have had on American health advice.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with money and politics, with politics and money. The debate over how money affects legislation is being held all over the country today. And today there were two very important examples in Washington of what people are talking about. The Supreme Court heard what might be a landmark case about money and free speech. We'll get to that in just a moment. And across the street in the Congress, on the eve of an important debate about managed health care in the country, it was the perfect opportunity to see money at work. We start with ABC's Linda Douglas.
Early this morning, some of Washington's top health care lobbyists hurrying to an exclusive private breakfast near Capitol Hill. Price of admission, a $1,000 donation to the campaign fund of House Speaker Dennis Hastert. Hastert himself here slipping in the back way. His discomfort was understandable. The fundraiser was being held just a day before the House takes up HMO reform, an issue in which the donors have a huge financial stake. Hastert said he simply listened to the lobbyists' concerns.
Which is normal procedure. You listen to people in this business, it happens.
Hastert insisted the fundraiser was planned weeks before the managed care debate was scheduled, saying it was an awkward coincidence. But the breakfast was a small part of what has become a battle of lobbying giants.
All the points that we've been making to members of Congress.
On one side, the insurance industry, which spent $77 million on lobbyists and contributions last year. The industry opposes legislation giving patients the right to sue their HMOs.
We know that costs will rise, that premiums will increase, and that working families will pay the bill.
On the other side, doctors who spent $45.8 million on lobbyists and donations last year. Doctors want the power to overrule HMO's medical decisions.
Health plans should be held accountable if they make a negligent error, and they should be able to be sued.
Members of Congress, particularly Republican members of Congress, who've gotten most of the money from both those industries, have got to make a choice now between two blue-chip donors.
Whatever happens to HMO reform in Congress this week, lobbying will have played a pivotal role. There has been very little pressure from the public, and when the public is silent, money talks. Linda Douglas, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
23 years ago, with the Watergate scandal tainting American politics, the Supreme Court said you could limit how much money someone could give to candidates. A generation later, the justices are reconsidering. Here's ABC's Jackie Judd.
In the Supreme Court today, the justices seem divided on the question of money, politics, and corruption. A sarcastic Antonin Scalia asked, do you seriously think there is a risk of corruption or appearance of corruption if someone gives $1,000? On the other side, David Souter said it is highly plausible that someone making an extraordinary contribution is going to get something extraordinary in return. The case before the court involves Zev Fredman, a Missouri businessman who wanted to run for state auditor. But he says a state law intended to prevent corruption by limiting contributions to just over $1,000 actually kept him out of the race.
Given my status as an outsider, I couldn't possibly raise the necessary funds.
An appeals court agreed and said the perception that money corrupts is not reason enough to limit contributions. It said they are a free speech right protected by the Constitution.
The cure is worse than the disease when one tries to limit speech to somehow stop corruption.
When the Supreme Court ruled 23 years ago, it said the perception of corruption was justification enough to cap contributions in federal elections. Missouri's Attorney General said that standard should still apply.
To say that there's not an appearance of corruption when politicians are handed tens of thousands of dollars is fanciful. The public understands and realizes that money buys things in our American political system.
A decision from the court is expected before next fall's elections. Candidates and fundraisers everywhere will be watching to see if the rules of a very expensive game are changed. Jackie Judd, ABC News, the Supreme Court.
In Washington today, there is every indication that a treaty that President Clinton believes is essential to the national security is in trouble. The treaty would ban all nuclear testing, and it was actually first proposed 40 years ago at the height of the Cold War as a way to make the whole world safer. The U.S. has already signed it. The problem now is, will the Congress ratify it? ABC's John Cochran joins us from the White House tonight with the latest cliffhanger. John.
Okay. Peter, tonight the White House is trying to negotiate with the Republicans to delay a vote on the treaty, possibly until next year.
Earlier today, the president knew the odds were heavily against him, but he made his case anyway for approval of the treaty.
If the Senate rejects the treaty, we run a far greater risk that nuclear arsenals will grow and weapons will spread to volatile regions, to dangerous rulers, even to terrorists.
The treaty would stop nuclear testing in countries that approve it and would permit on-site testing and set up monitoring stations all around the world. The administration says the U.S. no longer needs to test nuclear weapons to maintain its wide lead over others. But by late afternoon, the president's chance of winning approval seemed to be collapsing, as top Democrats, including Joe Biden, ranking senator on the Foreign Relations Committee, warned the votes just weren't there. The president would need the support of at least 22 Republicans, and he has only a handful of their votes.
We should not vote on it. We should not vote on it now. We should not vote on it next year. You know, if they would indicate some willingness to let the next administration and the next Congress consider this and vote on it, we'd entertain that.
The test ban treaty was supposed to be the centerpiece of the president's foreign policy agenda, a chance for his presidency to regain some of the luster it lost when he was impeached. Now it appears there may not even be a vote on the treaty until after Mr. Clinton leaves office. Peter?
Thank you, John. John Cochran at the White House. When we come back, some of the day's other news. MCI is taking over Sprint. Will it mean less competition in the long-distance market? And why did two trains collide in the middle of the rush hour in London?
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Escalade.
I have the power to find the quickest route across town, to get tickets to the hottest shows, and reserve a table for two at virtually any restaurant. I drive an Escalade, the only luxury SUV with the executive assistance of OnStar Standard.
OnStar, how can I help you?
I have the power to make obstacles obsolete.
Escalade, it's good to be the Cadillac.
Whoa, these hungry kids are coming on strong.
Mom needs a big plate to satisfy them.
Totino's Pizza Roll.
With Move, the great taste of pizza in bite-sized rolls.
Here they come.
Totino's Pizza Roll. Sensational.
Another big win for the home team.
These days, everybody wants whiter teeth.
Including me, and I wear dentures.
New Polident Whitening Mouthwash not only freshens your breath, it whitens dentures in just 2 weeks. New Polident Whitening Mouthwash.
It's giving denture wearers a lot to smile about.
It's my biggest story ever.
Let's run with it. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
Exactly.
What tipped you off?
Let's just say there was something in the air.
The world's largest telephone company was created today when MCI WorldCom got into the process of buying Sprint. $115 billion, and the combined company would control more than 30% of the long-distance market. For the telephone industry, once the largest monopoly in the country, the deal represents another step towards a market dominated by a few giant companies. Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
All right.
Sprint CEO William Esri called today's enormous deal good news for consumers.
It's what customers around the world want. The ability to one-stop shop for wireless and wireline, voice, high-speed data, and internet services.
He's right if you use all those services and buy them from a single carrier. It's part of a trend as the industry consolidates to give big discounts to heavy users. But if you're looking for basic phone service, no wireless, no internet access, today's deal is likely to hurt you.
50% of consumers who are fairly modest users, they're actually paying about $2 billion a year more than they were 2 years ago. That's a $2 to $5.50 a month increase.
The joining of the number 2 and number 3 long-distance companies immediately means less competition in the phone industry. But some say there is no need to worry. New long-distance competitors are just around the corner.
The regional Bell operating companies are knocking on the door of getting into the long-distance business, and they are going to make sure that prices stay low and, in fact, keep falling.
Like it or not, the deal-making in the telecom industry is expected to continue. Companies are convinced the way to win customers is to offer them everything, which often means buying it from someone else. And so far, Washington has done little to stand in the way. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
Several other items on the money tonight. The Federal Reserve decided not to raise interest rates today. However, the Fed did signal the market that it's leaning if there is inflation or the economy grows too quickly. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down less than a point to close at 10,400. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up more than 3 points. Several items about education and money. The College Board reports today that the average cost of college tuition was up less than 5% this year, the smallest increase in 4 years. College Board also finds that Pell Grants, which the government uses for needy college students, now covers just 14% of the cost at a 4-year private college. And the Education Department reports today that because of the strong economy, the number of students defaulting on their loans has dropped to a record low of 8.8%. In New York today, education was the center point when the Republican presidential frontrunner George W. Bush was critical of his own party for the second time in a week.
Too often, on social issues, my party has painted an image of America slouching toward Gomorrah. Too often, my party has confused the need of limited government with a disdain for government itself.
In his speech, which was on education, Mr. Bush proposed that states give annual tests to students and that federal aid should be tied to the results. Republicans have been critical of an expanded federal role in education and particularly mandatory testing. When we come back, the rush hour disaster just outside London.
28 different children from 28 different families with 28 different futures whose parents all share the need for help making informed decisions on what matters most: their health, their finances, their future. One name, Aetna, for what matters most.
Now that we have a plan.
What can we afford?
If I retire at, say, 65.
Sorry. No, 55. Sorry. Oh, 62.
Now, if Kevin goes Ivy League, let's get junior college.
Honey, if he gets into an Ivy League, it's going Ivy League.
You're right.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's see it again. And buying the vineyard in Tuscany. Ooh. Vacation in Tuscany.
Yeah. That's nice.
I like that.
No matter what you want to achieve, we can help. Ask Merrill Lynch.
My dentures always fit fine. I never thought of them as a problem until I saw the video of my son's wedding. It was then that I decided to try Fixodent.
Because Fixodent adjusts to the unique contours of your dentures and gums, forming a thin, powerful seal for a better hold than you ever thought possible.
It was like a whole new feeling, so snug and secure. For once, I actually forgot that I even wore dentures. So now, I like what I see.
Find out for yourself what it feels like to Fixodent and forget it.
Frogs do not have the active response system. And it shows. Only the Alero has the active response system. 16 features working together to connect you to the road. Frog, without the active response system. Alero, with the active response system. Alero, by Oldsmobile. Start something.
In London today, it was the height of the morning rush hour when two packed commuter trains collided just a few miles from Paddington Station. At least 26 people were killed and more than 150 injured. ABC's Mike Lee is there.
The two trains, jammed with commuters, were ripped apart. One of the cars caught fire.
There was a sudden bang, and then almost immediately another bang, and the train seemed to rise up underneath me and then crash down on the tracks.
Before rescue teams arrived, some of the passengers smashed their own way through windows, leaving their belongings behind, helping one another to escape from overturned cars. Many others were trapped and could be heard calling for help. The injuries, said one medic, were among the worst I've ever seen. Preliminary reports say the slower train was changing tracks, crossing toward its assigned track on the far right. Suddenly, the faster train coming from the opposite direction slammed into its side. Police are trying to determine whether one of the drivers ran a red light or whether there was a faulty switching signal. Rail safety is an ongoing controversy here in Britain, where several years ago, the government-run train system was sold off to private companies. Many people believe that the drive to make profits and to cut costs has resulted in lower safety standards and may have been responsible for this. Mike Lee, ABC News, London.
Still overseas today, in the Middle East, Israeli and Palestinian negotiators have signed an agreement with major implications for how Palestinians live and interact with one another. It's called Safe Passage, and it will make it easier for Palestinians to travel between the two territories where they live, the West Bank and Gaza. Israel is going to continue to keep very close tabs on travelers as they move back and forth. In Asia today, another nuclear accident. Radioactive water leaked inside a South Korean nuclear power plant, exposing 22 workers to tiny amounts of radiation. Officials say they were not harmed. The Pentagon is sending a plane to Antarctica tomorrow, trying to rescue early an Ohio doctor there who may have cancer. She found a lump in her breast but has been trapped there by the weather. The Air Force dropped her medicine in July, as we reported, but sources now tell us that she has not responded well to the medication. In a moment, studying the studies, trusted medical research that deserves a closer look.
Hey, Danielle, how's it going? How come you're using this?
How most people do it.
That doesn't make it the best way. We can make our pizza sauce from tomato concentrate like some of the other guys, but we use a sauce that's canned fresh. To me, it tastes better than sauce made from concentrate. Maybe you should do it different than most people.
Keep squeezing, Dad. Keep squeezing.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Keep going, Dad.
Get a large one-topping pizza for $8.99. Get a second large for just $6.99.
A lot of people have allergies. I have multi-symptom nasal allergies. It's the sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. It's all of it. I told my doctor, I've had it. I want an allergy medicine made for my kind of allergies. He prescribed multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
So with Staples.com, you order the supplies you want, I approve them, and they're delivered the next day.
You mean I can order pens?
Yes.
Paper?
Yes.
How about an executive leather chair?
No.
Paper clips?
Yes.
Linda.
Linda, 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 Linda.
When you people are finished, I have a light bulb in my office that he's changing too. I love the way they pull together.
Want great prices on everything, even furniture? Staples.com.
What you eating, little brother? Chicken and stars. There's a better tasting soup. Progresso chicken noodle. All white meat chicken. Bigger veggies. See the difference?
Good stuff.
Told ya. Nice shirt.
Discover the better taste of Progresso.
Next time, call a Roto-Rooter plumber. When we make an appointment, we keep it.
Tomorrow, the Journal of the American Medical Association is going to release a study on reducing the risks of having a stroke. It'll say that by eating 5 daily servings of certain fruits and vegetables, people can reduce their risk of stroke by up to 30%. Important. And it'll get a lot of attention in the media, as do many of the studies which show up on a regular basis in the country's medical journals. Tonight, we're going to take a closer look at whether all these studies deserve the uncritical attention that they often get. Here's ABC's John McKenzie.
Every 4 years, Joanne Garvey fills out detailed questionnaires. What she eats, what she drinks, what medicine she takes, what illnesses she's had. It is all documented right down to the specific brand of cereal.
I think we're not only looking at changing our own health, but also that of generations to come after us.
Garvey is just one of more than 250,000 registered nurses now enrolled in Harvard University's Nurses' Health Study, the largest and longest-running survey on women's health.
We're trying to determine which lifestyle factors increase or decrease risk of several chronic diseases in women.
Since 1976, the study has produced more than 250 published scientific papers, triggering such headlines as estrogen therapy linked to the risk of breast cancer, how brisk walks cut women's heart disease risk, and women and alcohol, heart benefit versus cancer risk. While this ongoing study receives regular international attention, it does have some very definite limitations. What many people fail to realize, and many in the media fail to emphasize, is that this study by itself provides only hints about a possible disease process. For example, on margarine, the Nurses' Health Study reported that women who ate more margarine or trans fatty acids appeared to have a higher rate of heart disease. The problem is, this is a statistical observation. There is no data from controlled trials that actually prove a cause and effect.
You have this vast amount of dietary data that's spewed out about every different disease and every single dietary factor, and none of it is verified by any good scientific investigation.
Dr. Lewis Culler argues that publishing so many initial observations might actually be doing the public a disservice.
The Nurses' Health Study contributes to the public's confusion about the relationship between diet and health, what we do know and what we don't know.
While many of the study's findings are supported by other independent research, critics warn that the Nurses' Health Study is often only a first step, and by itself, rarely enough to change a woman's lifestyle. John McKenzie, ABC News, New York.
Several weeks ago, we took a closer look at the sort of controversy that was going on about genetically altered seed. Today, the chemical company Monsanto says it's not going to sell a genetically engineered seed that has caused controversy here and overseas. The so-called Terminator seeds grow infertile plants that lack seeds of their own, which forces farmers to buy new seeds every year instead of harvesting them from their old crops, which would ensure that biotechnology companies profit from expensive new seeds they are developing. We took a closer look because farmers and activists fear that seeds would make them totally dependent on big business. In a moment, take to the ice or we'll take you to court. Sports fans strike back.
Mother, time to scour the countryside. My constipation keeps me up all day, drowsy all night.
Right, Colace!
When constipation keeps you from your routine, Colace will get you flying right again.
We interrupt this program for this important announcement. MCI now offers 5 cents a minute every day. That's just 5 cents every evening and all weekend long. Let her rip. That's one powerful message. Call 1-800-EVERYDAY to join.
Suffering from nasal congestion? A new kind of relief is about to be revealed because now there's a medicated nasal spray without one single preservative. Introducing Natravent, the only preservative-free nasal spray for long-lasting relief in one single spray. Finally, somebody figured it out. New Natravent. No preservatives, fast relief. Saline mist also available.
20 years now. Where'd they go?
Need help with those?
I can do it.
20 years. I don't know.
I mean, you just caught an edge. It happens.
I sit and I wonder sometimes.
Year after year, it's good to have someone you can depend on. Chevy. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
100 feelings.
You had a stroke. Admit that it's harder now.
1,000 emotions.
I'm gonna kiss you right now.
What you been waiting on, McCall? TV Guide says the stories and characters are as good as they come.
I didn't behave like a man.
You're apologizing like one. The season premiere of the Emmy-winning Sports Night. Tonight, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC.
Coming up next on Channel 2 News, will the nightmare of the new Carissa finally end? Salvage crews prepare to ship out the stern section. Plus, scientists make a discovery that could one day help regrow hair. I'm Steve Dunn. News of the Northwest is next.
Just a brief review of our top story, the money game in Washington on the eve of a very important congressional debate on managed health care reform. The Speaker of the House today was very much involved in a fundraiser with the health care lobby. And the Supreme Court today heard what might be a landmark case on whether limiting fundraising limits free speech. So finally, if you get angry about politicians, you can get angry about sports. Finally, this evening, fan power and fan anger. A week or so ago, when the New York Mets were playing so badly that the playoffs seemed an impossibility, one of their diehard fans said the only way their big hitters could get back into her good graces was by giving their salaries for that week to charity. Well, it wasn't about to happen, of course, but it did draw our attention this week to a case in the National Hockey League, which may turn out to set an important precedent, even a legal one. Fans of the Ottawa Senators have said to a reluctant star, play or pay. ABC's Bill Redick.
For season ticket holders who paid to watch the Ottawa Senators, Alexei Yashin has gone from being #1 to being public enemy #1. The Russian superstar has refused to play because of a contract dispute. So 72-year-old Len Potashin, a season ticket holder, decided to sue Yashin for breach of contract. He filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of nearly 11,000 season ticket holders.
In my day, you shook hands, that was a contract. Now you have it in writing, and if you don't like it, well, you change your mind. I mean, that's not the message I want to send to my grandchildren.
Yashin, who was the second most valuable player in the National Hockey League last year, is now training in Switzerland, holding out for more money, even though he's still under contract. Ottawa fans are furious.
When you buy season tickets, you buy it on the premises that these players are going to be in the lineup. When he chose not to show up, it diminished the value of that season ticket.
Yashin has one more year remaining on his $3.6 million a year contract, but he says he's worth a lot more. He insists the Senators erase the terms of his contract and write a new 2-year extension worth $23 million.
He's pathetic. As usual, the fans are getting the short end of the stick.
The Ottawa Senators management says if Yashin wants to play in the NHL at all, he must live up to his contract. And if the club loses money, the club will sue as well.
You don't have the most valuable player or second most valuable player in the league on your team. It's impossible to assume it won't make any difference.
Neither Yashin nor his agent will comment on the lawsuit. The head of the NHL, who was senior vice president and general counsel of the National Basketball Association, sides with the Senators.
A contract should be a contract, and a contract is a contract.
The fans' lawsuit claims $19 million from Yashin and his agent. Now others may be invited to join in. Sweatshirt vendors, commercial sponsors, even the network that broadcasts the games, because they too may have been damaged by Yashin's refusal to play. Professional athletes and fans everywhere will be watching to see what a Canadian court decides. Bill Rediker, ABC News, Ottawa.
And that's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. I hope you'll join us tomorrow. Have a good evening. Good night.
Tomorrow, yet another crucial natural resource is destroyed. Who's to blame, Mother Nature or man? Watch ABC's World News